me start recording this. So this will be recorded. It will be posted on YouTube afterwards. And yeah, like you said, welcome to the Sunday Market Blitz, December 6th. Another week. Markets are starting to be a little bit more friendly, following the elections and whatnot. So that's definitely good news. And yeah, we could pretty much just get right into it. So I'm going to hop on here and I'm going to go over mainly all of the major pairs. Let me see. Oh, this is the right shit here. Oh, GJ gapping down on the open.
Yep.
Oh shit. That's actually good news. All right, I'm going to get started with DXY here. So we'll bump up. What we're going to do, guys, we'll do top-down analysis. We'll just start from a higher time frame, and we'll just work our way down to a time frame where we can see structure the clearest. We'll work mainly on the 4-hour and the daily, and we'll use price action on the 30-minute and 1 hour to do our entries. So on the DXY, we're just going to start on the weekly. We don't trade this pair. This is just the dollar index. So we just look at this to gauge the value of the dollar. As you can see at the moment, it's very low. So dollar is extremely overextended all the way up to this weekly time frame. If I bump up to the monthly, we can see we're testing this 200-day moving average here. So that's actually pretty major that we're testing this level right now. If it were to break this thing, dude, this thing would fucking tumble, huh?
Yeah, it would fall quite a bit.
Yeah. So all this means this is the last 200 days. So this thing has been bullish above this 200-day moving average for a long ass time. Basically, we like to use this as like the last line of defense here. So this is kind of last line of support here, and this is the weekly or the monthly. I mean, so we could see previously how it reacted. Obviously started to wick it and then pulled back. So could we see something similar? We'll see. Who knows? We just got to look at price action. So down to the weekly, again, overall just bearish all the way. And then daily time frame, daily has been bearish. We're at this low. Friday formed this spit like doji candle, so that's normally a sign of reversal. We also had this daily candle close with this wick at the bottom, so we could see some sort of bullish price action here. We could see this push up. Let's get all the way down to the 1 hour. Nothing too crazy right here. 30-minute, there is a bit of a transition going on right now in the sense that we're breaking this lower high right here. We could actually move this down a little bit. So as you can see on this 30-minute was trending downward, heavily. And then now we're starting to get some sort of pullback. But nothing too crazy, at the moment. As we look at the 1 hour, still very much extremely bearish. So until this 4 hour starts to really, the moving averages start to cross anything like that, this thing is just still very bearish all the way. So with that in mind, let's go over to NZD USD. Let's bump up to a higher time frame. So all the way up on the weekly with this one, as we could see, very bullish, pushed above the 200-day right here, moving averages, blue over red. But we're just at this high right now. So we're at a high point in the market, and we just formed, I'm going to just delete this arrow for now, but we just formed this like huge doji candle, long ass wick right here. So this is, telltale sign of reversal. Could we push back down into this lower level? Let's look at daily. So daily time frame, you can see the end of last week, we had doji candles, large wicks, and then we had this huge bearish engulfing candle. So price action is telling us we could reverse from this level. Again, though, like daily time frame, very much bullish. It's just at this high. So we're seeing whether it's going to start to retrace. Down to the 4 hour, moving averages have started to cross here. So below the 4 hour time frame, we're bearish. Below the 4 hour time frame, we're very much bearish. If we look at the 1 hour, this time frame starting to push lower, and then down to the 30-minute, I have us breaking this support level right here. So pretty much what I'm looking at on NU is we need to continue to push a little bit lower. If we can get below this level, this is like a 1 hour support level, then what we would do is we would wait for that first lower high. So guys, we only enter on lower high points. Sometimes we do breakouts, but mainly what we're waiting for is, for our rules, is just enter on lower highs. So as you can see here, if we push down below, we'll break this trend that's going on right now. We could even bring on like a little bit of a trend line here. As you can see, we're starting to push, 30-minute already broke. So we can see if the 1 hour starts to push, and then I'll look for an entry based on this little retest right here. And as we bump back up to like the 4 hour and daily, that would just be a retracement. So we would just be selling on this retracement of this daily move. So obviously, a lot of things going on here. If we do get this 1 hour transition, then this thing could play out pretty nice, but we'll see. It's got to break this level. So as NU, nothing, doing at the moment. Let's go to USEF. We'll bump up to the monthly. So monthly time frame on USEF, we're just pushing to this low. I made a note in the analysis for this week that last month, look how last month closed. Look at the wick. This candle doesn't look very convincing as like a selling candle, but look how this thing just fell afterwards. So considering we're pushing down into like another support level down here, I am, looking for some sort of reversal here. I'm not trying to continue to sell this at the moment. As we can see on the daily time frame, we're at a low. We just formed this like spinning top candle. This is a reversal candle here. And then down to the 4 hour, we're starting to form this like level of support right now with these wicks to the bottom here. So I'm looking for this thing to pop up some more. If we bump all the way down to the 30-minute, I'm not crazy about selling just because we're at this low right now. I would sell on some sort of retracement. So if this thing pushes higher, I'm looking to buy on the push higher. And then as it comes up to some sort of retracement level, then I'll look to sell. If we bring out on this 1 hour, bring out our fibs from this previous lower high to this low, as we can see, we've got 38.2 here, 61.8 here, and there's like really no resistance. There's really no levels because this thing just fell. The closest level is like all the way up here. We've got this support, we've got the 200 day, 200 day, all the way up here. So if this pushes into this, that's what I'll be looking for. Buy here, hold like into this level up here, and nothing too crazy at the moment. Looking at the daily and the 4 hour, we're just at a bottom. We're at a low. So if we're trying to stick to our rules, like accordingly, we only sell on lower highs, we only buy on higher lows. So there's not much to do on this pair, USEF right now. So we're gonna be patient on this. We're not gonna get into anything too early. Let's bump over to GU next. GU is looking a little bit better. So monthly time frame, again, GU, we are testing this resistance level. So we have this weekly zone right here that we placed, rejected this 1, 2, 3 times. And then previously we had this morning star went down right there. And then as you can see, that closed. So this is telling me there's more buyers than sellers, but I'm still waiting for this level to hold, like to break. I'm still waiting for this level to break. So as I come down to the weekly, just looking at last week's candle, we had long wick right here. So what's that telling me? Buyer's exhaustion right here. And we're at this supply zone at the top here. So let's bring this down even to the daily time frame. This is the supply zone. As you can see, that was that wick from last week. So last week's final candle, I'm just going to move this over. Last week's final candle closed like this. So this is telling me that, buyers are struggling at this level. I don't necessarily want to buy right against this wick right now. And even down to the 4 hour, this is where I see things pretty much the clearest. So 4 hour time frame, look at this trend, bullish all the way right here. So this thing has just been in a bullish trend, formed this higher high, higher low, came up, formed a higher low, pushed up, formed this level of support, next higher low. Then we started like ranging a little bit, pushed up to this new high. So this is the move right now with GU. Pretty much as we come down to test this level, and I could even bring on my fibs, and on this 4 hour time frame, it's just a good time frame to do this on. We've got 38.2 right at this level that we're at. We've got 61.8 right in that supply zone right there. And then if we fall below there, that's what I'm going to start to look to sell. Ideally this 4 hour level of support that this is structure here. So I would need that to break. So long term, if we were to sell this, I would need this to break right here. Someone said, is this weekly support? I don't know if it was for this pair, but this is weekly support down here. So I always label it with this right here. Just keep things as clean as possible. So yeah, I'm going to look to buy above this zone pretty much. And if we fall below this yellow zone, which is a supply zone, then we're going to look to sell. So that's GU right now. I'm just going to monitor this early in the week, see if we get anything on that one. Let's go over to UCAD. So UCAD, much like USEF, there's not much that we can do, with this. Look at it on the monthly, look at it on the weekly. Monthly time frame, I just look at it. We just pushed, early this month, like big sell off already. The next level that we could get to is down here at this monthly key level. Just gonna bring this down here. So this is our next pretty much zone, and we got the 200-day down there. So what I'm thinking is we could push really all the way into this level right here. This is the next key level. This is where a lot of buyers are sitting at. Obviously, momentum is just extremely bearish. Look at it on the weekly time frame. I'm just going to move this over. Last week closed very bearish, barely any wick. Daily time frame, again, bearish all the way. Last week, we're a little overextended. So what I'm going to look for is on this 4-hour time frame, even some sort of pullback. Pullback, form some sort of lower high, even similar to this. Look how this dipped all the way to this low point right there. We'll just go back and look at this. At that point, there's nothing to really do there. If anything, you're trying to catch some sort of reversal if there's like confluence there, and then it pulled all the way back up to the 200-day, and then that's when it started to fall off again. So we're going to look for something similar to that right now, and I'm actually just going to bring on my fibs. So I'm going to fib pretty much just from here. So see, we've got this 38.2 level up here, 618, and then this 78.6 lines up perfectly with all this. So needs structure to form. That's why I've got UCAD as red, not looking to enter on anything early this week with UCAD. Just going to sit on the sidelines, let it play out a little bit. Let's go over to EU. We'll bump up to the monthly first. So monthly time frame, we've got obviously very bullish, broke above this 200-day level right here. Whether we come up to test these highs, that's what I'm sort of thinking right now. Very bullish. Could just continue higher like right now. So look at the weekly, bullish as hell. Little wick at the top here, so telling me that we are seeing a little bit of resistance. And then let's just go down to the daily time frame. This is what I wrote in the analysis. We had this tweezer top. So last week, end of the week, ended up with this bearish candle on Friday. So what that tells me on the daily is we could see a reversal here. So tweezer top, when the wicks hit the same height right here, and there's bearish price action. So we're definitely seeing that. If I come down to the 1 hour, 1 hour time frame, what I'm looking to break at a minimum is this level. So until something like this is broken, guys, like we're not looking to sell. We're not looking to sell yet. Once this breaks and then we get that first lower high, then we're selling all the way. We're going to sell all the way. So once this level breaks, then it'll be a much better condition to actually sell from. Right now, we're just in a buying zone. Like we're just in an uptrend. Form this high, higher low, push to this high, pulled back to this higher low. So we're very much just in an uptrend right now. And I'm just not trying to buy because we're just so overextended, like on this daily time frame. This is just a tough area to be buying in. So unless I get like nice higher low confirmation, like right here, we find support and then we push through the moving averages, very similar to this. So I'm just gonna do the good old bars pattern. So if we come down into, oh shit, here we go. So if we come down into this blue zone, as we're testing the zone right now, and then we start to find support and we move through the moving averages, very similar to this move right here, we'll buy on this candle. So if something similar to this goes down right now, then we will buy a EU all the way. If this thing breaks lower, then we're going to look to sell. So those are our two options on EU. I'm gonna actually move this one up the watch list a little bit so I can keep an eye on this. And then I'm gonna go over GJ. Shouldn't you use a fib on trend like this one? Yeah, you can certainly use a fib on trend like this one. Sometimes I'm not putting on the fibs, especially on the lower time frames, but hypothetically, like I'm visualizing the levels like 618, 38.2. When you've done this enough, you kind of know where the hell they fall, and you don't need to exactly put everything on the charts. But I do try to bring everything out as much as I can just for explanation with you guys. Let's see. Let's bump up to the daily. So now we're on GJ, very similar to GU. So GJ correlates very similar to GU, guys. All the way on this weekly time frame, as we could see here, we have a lot of wicks. So we're overall in a downtrend. Look at the trend line, look at the 200-day, but we're below this level right here and the monthly. So we're still in a downtrend, even though price action has been very bullish. I am looking for potential reversal. I'm looking at these wicks, long wick here, long wick here. Then we started to shoot up, ended with this wick. So this thing is losing steam. We're testing this level again, this daily time frame, double top, actually triple top in this area right now. And just look at all the wicks. I don't want to buy into these wicks right now. If anything, I want to be patient. So I'm looking at this on the 4-hour, and I drew out this like rising wedge, which is normally like a weakening pattern where it'll just fall out of and just drop. So that's what I'm looking for GJ. I'm looking for this thing. It opened gaps much lower. Now it's coming up into this level to test it. And the 30-minute, I'm going to stick to the 1-hour because GJ is just crazy. I'm going to basically sell once this thing breaks this level. So I have this red line marked as well. We could just use that. Once this red level really breaks and we test it, we reject it, that's what I'm going to look to sell GJ. So this is going to be something that we put out early this week if it does execute. So I'm going to move this one to orange. Let's get this person in here. So everything that I just went over, guys, will be posted in the premium analysis. If you're not in this, it comes with the membership, the premium membership. And it's also, if you guys want it, it's a one-time fee. It's not signals. It's just our analysis. So it's just lower time frame. When me and Nick are looking for trades, right before we put them in the signals chat, we'll throw them in the analysis premium in here. And it's just $7 one time. It's also included in the full course membership as well. So that's all the pairs that I'm going to go over. Again, they're posted in this free channel, just like higher time frame for the whole entire week. Now I'm going to pass it over to Nick. He's going to get into the rest of these pairs that I'll post it right here. He's going to do what, DXY again?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick refresher on DXY and then get into AU, AJ, gold, and then EJ, UJ. So we got a few to cover, but let's just get into it. Let's jump over here. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty much just going over what Angelo covered on DXY here. Starting from the daily, very simple. Overall, very, very bearish, guys. We recently moved through major support zone, our monthly here. But we do notice that it is quite overextended, right? Like this is a huge bearish leg. It hasn't pulled back that much. So, structure formation could be soon. We could see a pullback to 38.2, 61.8, some sort of confluence area to form, a lower high, pull back to the MAs with a cross before we see this continue lower. So that's a definite possibility. But again, this could just keep pushing on momentum. We'll just see rejection from these MAs. Maybe we'll get it. We'll see price action slide a little bit lower before, ultimately that pullback does come. But we are definitely bearish until we get back above this monthly. We wouldn't consider DXY bullish at all, especially on this time frame. Because like if we really look at it, this is a lower high here. This is probably the most significant zone, right, where this 200 EMA is 92.6. Price action could technically come all the way back up to here and still be bearish. So this thing has got a lot of momentum. It's got a lot to prove for us to even consider a bullish dollar right now. So we're just going to ride with this. The only bullish movement we're kind of expecting would be that pullback. But other than that, we're definitely looking for that lower high, kind of continue with the overall trend. And yeah, just look for the next lower low. So that's DXY. Just a quick recap. So let's go on to our first pair, AU. and we'll start on the daily time frame, just to understand the overall trend, where price action has been, where it's potentially going, just from like a macro view, basically. And then we'll work our way down to the 4-hour and identify some potential trade scenarios. So we were very bearish for a while. We did move through key support at our monthly zone right here at 0.7 flat. Rejected, gave us a lower high, pushed lower. This was Corona, this huge down spike here. And then this was a correction, pull back pretty much 100% right to the monthly zone, stalled for a second, consolidated it, and then finally pushed through it, and then confirmed the transition by giving us a whole bunch of higher lows, and then retesting broken structure, which was our weekly break of structure, because this is a weekly lower high. Once price action moved through that, we then considered it a weekly transition, and we're then bullish on the weekly moving forward. So here we are now. We're in a new range. This monthly being our support, this weekly being our resistance, and we're on the the top side of this range right now. So definitely really just riding with this bullish momentum. And we're going to drop down to the 4-hour and see if it's going to continue, or what we need to see to start looking at short opportunities. Let's go right to the 4-hour. All right, cool. So we are bullish on the weekly, as this was the weekly break of structure. Then it tested it with this double bottom and then pushed through these lower highs. So that was our daily break. Now it's bullish on the daily and the weekly. So a lot of momentum here, a lot of confirmation supporting this bullish outlook. But where we are right now essentially is we were forming this ascending triangle. It broke resistance, tested, gave us a higher low. I had actually highlighted both of these trade scenarios last week, a potential long here on a higher low. It happened, it pushed through. And then again, another potential entry here on a higher low with an MA cross. That had also happened. And now we're at a new point. So pretty much we're looking for something very similar. Is a pullback to form structure at the 61.8, 38.2, either one of those levels, followed by a confirmed higher low. With strong bullish setups, we could then take a long position on that and then target higher towards key resistance like this weekly. And then of course, other TP levels could be our negative fib levels. So this is looking really good. I mean, if this comes down to the 61.8, pulls back through the MAs, consolidates, gives us a nice higher low, some sort of reversal pattern, that'd be a really, really good entry and a really nice risk to reward. So that's what we're looking at right now. This one's pretty close to entry and will also be posted in premium analysis, as Angelo was saying. So definitely keep an eye on AU. But we're long first. Nothing really here suggests any short positions. But let's go over what needs to happen for us to take a potential short. And essentially, we want to see some higher lows break. I want to see price action get below 0.733, some sort of lower high below that. Pretty much just like this orange trade path here. That's what I would like to see to really say on this time frame, at least, that we're bearish and we could start looking at short opportunities. Okay, until that happens, definitely still very much bullish. So that's AU. Let's move on to AJ. It's going to be kind of similar, definite same sentiment here, but a little bit different price action. So let's go ahead and just zoom out for a second. We're going to do the same thing on the daily, work our way down, take a look at the overall sentiment, and then potentially see where price action could be going. So we see that we were very bearish for a while. We recently broke through this monthly zone, retested, then Corona hit. We had a huge down spike to this monthly zone at 63 flat, followed by, again, a huge correction right to our monthly zone, much like we just saw in AU. But the only difference here is we didn't move through this monthly yet. We actually had a false breakout right here. And this looks like a more promising breakout, what's happening right now. We'll get to that in a second. But still very much bearish according to these zones. But it did break out of this resisting trend line. So we are in a bit of an ascending channel here. So definitely more bullish on the 4-hour. But as we, step back for a second, look at this overall, trend on the daily, we could see that it's still pretty much bearish as it remains near this monthly zone. All right, so let's drop to the 4-hour, take a look at this ascending channel and see what potential trade scenarios we could identify. All right, so this is a pretty big channel, right? Very, very large channel. Let's zoom in closer here. All right, so we're at the monthly zone. We know this is a huge kind of a huge zone, so we can expect a lot of reaction here. This still could be technically a false breakout. We could see price action pull back very quickly and start forming some lower highs again. So just want to be cautious. We want to make sure that we're getting in at a pretty conservative entry. So from right now, I could see pretty much we want to stay with the overall sentiment, right? So we're looking at long opportunities first. So from here, I really only see just momentum just going to keep carrying price action here, or it'll pull back a little bit to test 76.5. So we can see this potential trade path right here, or we'll see something like this. Right. So as long as price action remains above 76.5, we're looking for long opportunities. But once we start seeing some lower highs below this, below 76.5, then, we want to be a little hesitant on taking long opportunities. Ready doesn't have the conviction. It's not a clean entry. But if you see some sort of, bullish engulfing here, you could technically take that entry. That's a little more aggressive. It would be right in here. Slightly more aggressive entry, but still valid. The confirmations are there. It just comes down to what your tolerance is. But this would be a good trade, good risk to reward here. I would target higher towards 79 flat. And then if this were to pull back, price action were to pull back, give us a reversal a little bit lower, closer to 76.5, you look for an entry here. Again, on a nice bullish variation, crossing to the MAs preferably. And then we'll have the same target, 79 flat. Good risk to reward here as well. So 2 potential long scenarios. Again, as price action remains above 76.5, it's still very much bullish and could get in on a nice higher low with confirmations. So definitely long on AJ right now until we see otherwise. And what would we need to see to start considering those short scenarios? Essentially, as we said, a lower high below 76.5. So this right here, this orange trade path is what would be, is what we would need to see to start taking short scenarios or short opportunities. So something like this, right? Enter on a nice, bearish engulfing, bearish variation below the 76.5, below our monthly, below the 200 EMA. You guys could just see all the confluences coming into play here. That would really, if we got enough conviction and we got some strong momentum moving lower, you could see how it would continue lower, right? We broke through all this support. Obviously, this was a major move if this were to happen, and we'd catch it pretty early. So this would be a nice short down towards key support levels, 74 being probably our last target. But yeah, so that's what would need to happen to go short. But until that happens, looking for these long scenarios on AJ. All right, so now let's go on to UJ. It's always a fun one. Daily time frame to start. Overall, we know this has been very, very bearish for quite a while. I mean, we're on the daily here, and we have a giant descending triangle, right, all the way back since 2016. I know we cover this one quite a bit, but it's just such a huge pattern. It's really good to recognize this almost every time, because key support for this triangle has been 104.5, and it's been holding since, again, all the way back here since March 2018. Every time it's come into the zone, it's rejected quite a bit, except for recently. Recently, we've been consolidating. We've been printing lower highs, lower lows right at this zone. So it's showing that there's definitely a favor with the overall sentiment, the bearish sentiment, right? There's more buyers than sellers here. Buyers are having a hard time pushing price action up like they have done in the past, right? It's not as rapid. Price action is kind of holding. It's just kind of melting, absorbing all these buyers until eventually, we get our next big push to the downside. So that could be happening soon. If this is the real break of 104.5, we could see a pretty large move on UJ. So let's get right down to the 4-hour and see what we're looking at. See what kind of trade scenarios there are. So like I said, guys, here we are. We broke through our weekly, and since that, we've just been getting lower highs, right? Lower highs, lower lows. We're actually breaking through 104.5 right here. This was a little of a speculative move. I think this was all like election related in here, how it pushed down to 103.1. But even so, still a nice break of 104.5, just supporting this overall sentiment even more. So good sign. Right after this bit of speculation, we kind of went sideways for a little bit, resumed the overall trend, started getting lower highs again, breaking through support, got back below the 200. So we're at a good spot right now. Right now, it's looking like we're getting a bit of an M pattern, as you can see, right? Nice little M pattern. And then where we are now would be where we would like to see a lower high, because honestly, we're not too far off from an entry where we sit right now. So if we've got a nice lower high here, strong bearish setups on maybe the 1 hour, 30 minute, you could take a nice short, and we would target down towards significant support levels like 103 flat, negative filled levels right here at 103.3. So this could be a really nice short, and then a really good risk to reward as well. Your stop loss would be just above this outside these MAs right here. And yeah, so all we need honestly is a couple more confirmations on the lower time frame, confirming this is a lower high, and then we're in. So this could be a really nice move. Kind of been waiting for a true push to 103 for a while now. So we'll see if this is it, guys. But again, you guys can kind of follow this, as we post in premium analysis and get closer to execution of a trade. So bearish for now, very clearly. But again, let's go over what needs to happen for us to take long position. And essentially, we want to see a higher low above 104.5 again. Pretty simple. This is the key zone here. If price action moves above it with conviction, gives us a higher low, then we can start looking at long opportunities, and then we'll target higher towards key resistance. 106 probably being one of our last stops. And then, we'll reanalyze and do the whole thing again. So that's pretty much what we're looking at on UJ, guys. Definitely excited for this short scenario to play out. So we'll see. Just going to be watching charts tonight as it plays out. So that's UJ. Let's move on to EJ, and then we're going to wrap it up with gold. All right, EJ is actually looking pretty cool right now too. Very, very clean setup coming out of EJ, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's just zoom out and start out on the daily. I just want to show you guys where EJ has been. So EJ likes to trend. Clearly, this is a huge descending channel, right? Very, very clear trend. Moves through support, establishes a new low, pulls back, tests broken level, comes back, forms a new low, and so on and so on. So very, very good structure out of this pair. And it was bearish for a while, as you can see, up until recently when we got a massive transition in price action. We had a huge rally. It broke these lower highs, weekly lower highs. So that was our first transition in price action, right? We got a weekly break. We're now bullish on the weekly. Everything else is kind of bullish as well. So, and we're still very much in that trend, right? We're above this weekly. We've been getting higher lows since this initial break. So still very much bullish, okay? But after this initial break, we rallied all the way into 126.5, which was our key monthly zone. Then we pulled back, the market took a breather, came back to form structure, gave us this little bit of a, descending channel here, found support up to 200, and again, form structure, and then pushed up, back up towards our monthly zone. So very much bullish, guys. Ton of momentum here. Let's drop right to the 4-hour, and then, look at potential trade scenarios and see what we could find. All right, so this was the break of that descending channel, right? It hit the 200 on that, the 200 EMA on that daily time frame, as we just talked about, pushed higher back into the range here, gave us a higher low, and then took off. Okay, so we rallied back into 126.5. Huge push, right? This is overextended. We fibbed it. This thing could form structure, or we needed to form structure before we could take a conservative entry. So I've gone ahead and drawn these two trade scenarios, these long ideas, kind of identifying a reversal at the 38.2 or the 61.8, which is what ideally we want to look for. And then we could take a nice long trade on an MA cross, bullish setup, bullish variations, something like that. And this is where you would roughly enter, right? You want to see a pullback, a nice reversal, enter on some bullish setups, MA cross. Just make sure the confirmation is there, and then you target towards the prior high, which is our monthly, and then above towards our negative fib levels. All right, so this is nice. Where it sits now, there's no real comfortable trade entry I would, kind of recommend. You want to see structure form. We're at the 23.6. It doesn't really have much weight for me. It hasn't pulled back to the MAs yet after this huge rally. So I really just want to be patient on EJ. This is probably one of the pairs that's furthest away from entry this week. So just going to wait on this one. I'm really in no rush. It moved. This was such a good trade. I mean, we were on the right side of the market with this one, especially last week. We did expect it to rally, not as much as it did, but the sentiment was right. We were expecting a huge move to come, and it did. So now you got to wait. You got to give the market its time to breathe until we can get back into a good, trade scenario. All right, so that's EJ. Waiting for this pullback. I'm not going to even cover a short scenario for this. I mean, it needs to pull back so much. Ideally, if you were to go short, you'd want to see a break of this here, right? Just get below the 200 EMA, start seeing some lower highs, and then target significant support levels along the way. All right, but it's just so far away. This isn't even really realistic right now. It's going to take a while for this to play out and get anywhere near this support. So until that happens, just look for these two levels, right? Reversals from those fib levels. All right, so that's EJ. Then we're going to wrap it up. Last one, gold, guys. There's always a fun one. This was actually setting up really nice. There's going to be a really nice short scenario here, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's start on the daily. Overall, very bullish, guys, right? I mean, we know that on gold. It's been bullish for so long. Everyone's just been buying the hell out of it, especially with all the uncertainty going on from Corona and everything else going on. So, the dollar was very much in demand for a while. Now it's kind of resuming normal market structure, pulling back a little bit, and money's going back into the reserve currency. So back to gold. We had a recent break of 1800. And then again, amidst all the speculation, everyone was going back into gold. So we saw a huge rally into up to 2070. Then, yes, things died down. We pulled back. We got this descending triangle. Key support was at 1930. It finally broke. That was our daily break of structure. So we were now officially bearish on the daily when happened. And now price was 1875. We kind of were waiting on that, or we were banking on this break for a while. It faked out down here, faked out again here, faked out up here, faked out down here again at the beginning, and then eventually formed this lower high and then dumped. We got below 1875. We saw this huge drop down to key support at 1800 again, and then a huge reversal. So, let's drop down to the 4-hour and see what kind of trade scenarios we could identify. Is gold going to keep dropping, or could this 1800, handle right here be the support we needed to see this reverse? Has it pulled back enough? So let's see. Let's drop to the 4-hour and get right into it. Okay, so we are overall very bearish, right? So rule of thumb, you want to ride the trend. I'm not going to look into a crystal ball and be like, guys, it's going to change this trend now. Gold's about to rally to the moon. Despite all the technicals telling us that it's bearish, right? It's just not going to happen. I want to see a higher low form first. I want to follow price action. I'm not going to predict where it's going to go and then hope when I go to sleep that I wake up to profits. Not going to happen. All right. So overall, very bearish. We're going to continue with that trend. And so right now we're just looking for a lower high, essentially. We're looking for some sort of reversal. We reached structure, 61.8. It's a key zone. That's nice. We want to see that. We want to see price action pull back to that level, reverse, present an entry opportunity, and then we're in. We're riding the trend. We got the right confirmations. So that's essentially what we're waiting for now. Price action is dying down. We're getting a lot of indecision. Price action is starting to go sideways. 61.8s here. So we just want to see price action drop a little bit, push through these MAs, maybe test them on the backside of a candle or something, and enter on some sort of bearish variation right in here after a lower high, right? A lower high below 1826. And then this would be your entry, something like this. Boom. And then we're going to target lower towards, again, prior lows, key support, negative fib levels, and so on. So yeah, definitely looking super bearish right now, especially with all this weakness. This is just a huge sign of reversal right here. So much weakness in all these candles, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, but guys, what happens? What do we need to see to go long here? Again, we need to see price action get above this 200, above 1875, preferably back into this range with some higher lows, just kind of bouncing off this support. And yeah, then we could consider long opportunities. You could play the range, play up to this daily zone, and then reanalyze and identify new trade scenarios. Okay, but until that happens, guys, that's a long way to go. Yeah, so again, until that happens, we're very much at 200 is 88.6 and still very much be bearish. So yeah, you just really got to wait for those confirmations. But this could be a really nice short, really nice short. We're going to try and take it from 1825 all the way down towards about 1714 handle. All right, it's a big trade, guys. So quick recap. I covered DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ. That's some rejection right there. Damn. UJ, EJ, and gold. And just for those that are in the premium analysis, just a quick reminder, these will be posted in here for you guys, lower time frame stuff. So typically 1 hour or less, whereas the analysis stuff is 4 hour or higher. Okay. Notice the difference. Yeah. 4 hour.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's about it, guys. Those are all the pairs we've prepared for you. I mean, Angelo, you want to add some stuff?
Yeah, I was just going to say, go back into the Discord, actually. Yes, sir. All right. So if you guys want to get in on signals, or if you want any account management, or we're even doing the FTMO, passing FTMOs for people. If you guys want any of our products, you can go into the Start Here section or just go over to our website. Just hit us up. We'll get you guys involved. It's the beginning of the week, so it's a good time to get in on the signals, get in on the trade copier, and get it going for this week. We're going to be back on for another free session on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning will be another free session, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Other than that, look in the chats for all the updates that are coming out. Inside of the community, the Telegram, the Discord. That's going to be main place you can contact us and just look at all the updates. We'll share anything with you guys, and for the people that are in the membership, we'll get the trades out there when we see them, and we'll update everything as soon as this call's over. So I'll put this on YouTube after this, and thank you guys again for coming on and supporting us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate every single one of you guys. So
Yeah.
just a quick reminder, if you guys do want to message us about something, make sure right here I'm highlighting where it says our name on Discord, Forex League. Just message us there, and we'll answer any questions. We'll talk about charts, anything you guys want. So
Yep.
thank you again, guys, and have a good week.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good night. Peace.